Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sort of Truth podcast on the All the Things Podcast Network. It's the alcohol-fueled, chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with a mouthful of craft brew on the side. Not nearly as innocent as it sounds. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade, and we are waking up to chapter 47 of Stone of Tears today.
I think this is probably the worst intro we've ever done.
I don't think so.
I mean, the enthusiasm is there, but I just don't know how I feel about talking about waking up to a mouthful.
Oh, we've done worse.
That's true. I take it back.
Real quick before we get into this chapter, I just want to mention how much the comments and emails and just general feedback from you guys means to us. Like, we've gotten messages from people kind of all over the world, which is really crazy for me to say.
Yeah.
And also just in general from people that we know have been listening all the time. And like, I don't know, just the little stuff means a lot. I know that somebody recently said we take the dark things and we do a very good job of like making it light or fun. And that was really cool to hear. And like people looking forward to us. It's strange to me, but I like it a lot.
Yeah. We've heard from, I think it was a taxi driver in Japan, a semi-driver in the Netherlands just the other day.
Yeah. We've
gotten comments on the sound quality, which, thank you very much. I try to make it sound as good as possible. It's funny to us because when we record these, we're in our basement and we're talking to our computers and each other, and it's just like, it's not a very natural thing. It's hard sometimes because at the end of the episodes, we're like, hey, we got the email and we got the socials and you can text or like, it's a lot and we have to say it every episode. I mean, I suppose we don't have to, but we do like to. And now we really like to because we're getting feedback and like, just randomly, 2 or 3 times a week, we'll get an email from somebody just saying, hey, you know what? I like what you're doing. I appreciate it. Keep going. And it's fucking awesome.
Or giving us ideas of things to like look into and question and dive deeper into, which is also equally super awesome.
Yeah. And also it's kind of weird sometimes because, you know, when we do sit down and record, half an hour into the episode, we'll say something and that idea strikes with somebody else, and then we get an email about it, and we're like, wait, what? I was just thinking that the other day. Oh, okay. Now I know. I thought it out loud, didn't I? But no, it's really fucking cool.
Yeah. So we just wanted to say real quick, we appreciate you guys. I don't know if we say that enough, and if we don't, here it is again. We appreciate you.
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 I honestly thought you were going to say something else.
So with that, we can get on with the chapter and be done with all the sappy bullshit.
Whoa.
Yeah, I went there. It's time for the chapter and the forcing of things.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
The beginning of this episode.
Yeah, talk about a cold shower intro to a chapter. Holy shit. So
we started nice. That's what we did, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little sweet, then hit him with the sour.
Butter him up, shove him through.
So at the end of the last chapter, Kahlan had been attacked by Prin. He jumps on top of her and then he just bleeds out.
Around her fist.
And then she blacks out.
Mm-hmm.
So this chapter begins with her waking up with something in her mouth, and she's being told to swallow.
Yeah. It sounds bad, and it's that bad when you're listening to it. It's worse, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Because she's in the state and can't tell what the fuck's going on, and it even says it seems like a finger at one point. And I don't know. It doesn't make you feel soft and warm and fuzzy.
Well, I'll tell you what it makes you feel. It makes you think it's a dick.
Yeah, it does.
Right off the bat, I was like, she's got a dick in her mouth.
Don't swallow it. Don't swallow it, Kahlan.
Yeah, and I mean, you and I both are missing little pieces of this part of the story. You had said you'd forgotten that it was Prin. He was the bastard. I remembered that it was Prin, but I forgot about this scene.
Yeah.
I thought the big action scene and then it's over. I completely forgot about Kahlan waking up in this and not knowing what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, because she was still coming back.
Yeah, and I mean, we find out what exactly happens to Prin here in just a second. But when she wakes up, she doesn't know that anything's different. He could be alive and well and doing his business as far as she's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, he was bleeding out, but you don't know. You don't know. He could, rally. Or somebody else could come along. You never know. There's a lot of bad people in the woods.
Yeah, they're being attacked right now by the Imperial Order.
Yeah.
So there are other bad guys in the vicinity.
Yeah, so if I were her, I would probably try to bite whatever was in my mouth off because of what was happening before. Like, fuck you, I'm not going to swallow. I'll spit your finger out. Or whatever it is.
Or, never mind, I can't say it. I can't.
Turns out it's not a finger or a penis.
Oh,
it is Chan shoving Kwasindo in her mouth and forcing her to take it. Even once you know it's something dry and leafy, it's still really weird.
Well, it's still gross. Yeah. Like, no water, nothing. They don't mix it up in a paste so you can... It doesn't really matter, but yeah, no, dry leaves aren't going to be good in your mouth.
Yeah, she probably is really dry mouth from the poison and all the other stuff that's happened. So yeah, girl could use some water. You're right.
So she falls back asleep for a while, but when she wakes back up, Chandelin is there waiting for her. She's, of course, shocked that he survived because, fuck yeah, the last time we saw him, he had been shot.
With a fuck ton of the Bandu.
Yeah, with a lot of poison. And so he tells her he had taken some of the Kwasindo before the battle to honor his ancestors because that's a thing. We know that about them. Mm-hmm. And it's actually the Kwasindo that he got from Ebonicia.
Yeah, which Kahlan actually kind of let him get. So technically she saved herself. And him.
That's a real Bill and Ted moment, I knew I was going to do that, so we needed this, and it's actually what it is it's actually close to what Verna is trying to tell Richard wizards do.
Yeah.
About, self-fulfillment, and you didn't know you did it, but you did do it, and
right.
You helped yourself doing it, even though you didn't know you did it.
Exactly.
I think that all made sense.
I think it did. But it also made me wonder, though, he had to have known, part of him had to have known that if it wasn't Prin, then one of them was doing something funky. He had to have some suspicion, because you don't waste fucking Kwasindo if you don't suspect one of the only people who have the poison shit,
Right. Well, I mean, if you're not going into battle and using it, there should be no reason for you to use it. Thus, you would have the same as the other two guys.
Right, and he shouldn't be worried about one of the other two guys attacking him. He shouldn't need to take the Kwasindo ahead of time if he doesn't think anybody's going to shoot him. That's all I'm saying. I think there had to have been at least a small part of him that was something funky's going on. I better take this to be safe. Otherwise, it seems wasteful. He's got a whole village to take this shit back to. You can't be just eating it for no reason. So, Kahlan looks over at Prin's body, and he's got the bone knife from Chan's grandpa sticking out of his chest.
Chan's
and
grand.
She doesn't remember drawing it at any point during that attack. She remembers everything else from the attack, but not drawing the weapon.
Yeah, this would be the thing that caused Prin to bleed out.
Right.
She had stabbed him accidentally.
Whoopsie!
It kind of reminds me of that, what is that? It was a movie, but I think it was actually a play, Chicago, when the lady's like, I didn't stab him, he fell into my knife.
Oh. Yeah.
He fell into my knife 17 times.
Yes.
I got a kick out of that.
Yep, he just fell right onto it.
Shit, I stabbed him. Well, we'll just do this a few more times for good measure.
So Kahlan apologizes to Chan for killing his friend. And Chan's like, that's not my friend. A goddamn, good man, Yeah, fuck that guy,
my friends don't do that shit. He's not my friend.
This is one of those moments, though, that I think make people like soften up to Kahlan and really like her, because she just had all this shit happen to her, and she's apologizing to Chan for killing the guy who just tried to rape her. I don't think, if I was going to do an apology of any kind, it would be more like, I'm sorry that your friend turned out to be a piece of shit. I'm not sorry that I killed him.
Yeah, no, your friend being a shit caused me to kill him. It wasn't my fault that he had to die, but he had to die.
Yeah, super glad I did that.
Yeah.
But she is totally genuine in being like, I'm sorry for you that you just lost your friend, and like the loss of him, which is good because they have a better relationship than I would probably have with people in this situation.
Yeah, your buddy tried to kill me. That puts you on my shit list. Yeah. Or at least I'll be watching you closer now.
I can't trust anyone.
No, fuck no.
But Chan understands that's not really Prin, and I guess that's another reason why it's good that Kahlan isn't immediately like, fuck that guy, right? Because he was taken over by the great spirit of death.
So we talked about this actually in the last episode, and we kind of joked about how we didn't think that Prin being a Baneling was really the cause of this. Like, he was just a piece of shit. Maybe he's just a rapist because he's a bastard rapist.
Because that
happens.
And
an awful person. Right,
yeah.
Because that does happen. But no, he is a Baneling. That means he is being influenced by some sort of evil.
Right.
So it does stand to reason that although it may have been happening to him for a long time, he may not have actually done this just for his own... I don't want to say sake. Because it's not for his sake. It's just for, a sick thrill, I think. But he might not have done this if he wasn't a Baneling.
Right. It's a weird line, I guess. I don't know, because even them, the way that they treat him, they're mad at him, obviously, as they should be. They're like, fuck that guy, kind of. But also, they can miss him. They reminisce about him a little bit here. And I don't know. Do you hate him because he was taken over by evil and he did a lot of evil things? Or do you not because the person who he was before wasn't evil? And neither one, I don't know. We don't really get like an answer on this.
There is no clear answer. Yeah. Because if you look at it one way, when we met him, when they met Richard for the first time, and they were all like, Richard, yeah, fuck yeah. It would have to mean that he was already a Baneling.
Or it happened while Dark and Raw got out, or, at some point while they were there. In this
book, when the veil was torn,
yes,
something happened to him then. Because we technically met him in Wizard's First Rule.
Yes.
And I don't know, because on the one hand, suppose he was good when you met him, then something happened to him and he did this evil thing. He still had to be killed, because he was still going to rape Kahlan and then turn her over to the other side.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, okay, he was turned evil, but there was a motivation there. He was going to get something for that. And so he wanted to do this thing, or he was evil from the get, and he might have been playing nice, but he had this in his, plans all along. And then I think it's like, still fuck you, because you had it out for our main characters from the start.
That's what it is. Whew. It depends on what his motivation was, because like Michael in the first book, he was a piece of shit. He didn't give a shit about the people who cared about him. He just wanted what he wanted, and he was going to do whatever it took to get there. Now, if Prin was duped by the Keeper or Dark and Raw, however he got to being Baneling status, if he did it with nefarious intent and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck that guy up because, I'm gonna ride the Keeper train now, then, he's a piece of shit. Or if he was just like, the Great Spirit is commanding me to whatever, then he might have a little bit more grace to be given.
Yeah, he could be forgiven in at least some aspect.
Right.
Like somebody who was confessed, almost. So Kahlan worries about the attack on the men, and Chan is like, hey, chill. While you were sleeping, I took care of all of it.
I got it!
Really? Chan was doing double time, and fucking cheers to you.